Hey, what's up, everybody? It's John Schumacher here with NewWaveHealthcare.com. And just want to give you guys a quick reminder, we are a video podcast, so if you're listening to these interviews on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, head on over to NewWaveHealthcare.com to check out all the video recording of all of our wonderful interviews that we've had with all these amazing entrepreneurs in the healthcare industry. Everything on health entrepreneurship, from marketing to healthcare innovation. Go over there, newwavehealthcare.com, to hear the stories, see the videos, and get all access to all of the resources and links, as well as the contact information from all our guests here at newwavehealthcare.com. Also, going to give you guys a quick heads up. We do have a newsletter. If you subscribe to our email service there at newwavehealthcare.com, we do put out a Friday curated list of awesome articles, as well as the replays of all of our interviews that we conduct here every single week. So head on over, check that out, newwavehealthcare.com. And one last announcement, next month is July, and we're going to be kicking off 2, possibly 3 new shows focused all on healthcare innovation, whether it's healthcare marketing, healthcare media, healthcare innovation. We're going to really be ramping up the content, as well as releasing a lot of new online marketing and media services, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started on this interview. Today, my guest is Hilario Castillo, who is a registered nurse and healthcare entrepreneur in the greater New York area. He's the founder of Innovative Neurons, which is a company focused on bringing innovative medical devices, med tech wearables, mobile health technologies, and all sorts of amazing stuff to the marketplace. And Hilario's been kind enough to come on our show today, talk a little bit about himself, his company, give us some tips regarding entrepreneurship in the health tech space. So Hilario, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Let's just have you start off by telling a little bit about yourself personally. We'd like to get to know a bit about you, and then we'll jump into your business.
Sure. Well, first of all, John, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here on New Wave Healthcare. I think that what you're doing here, just webinars and getting the medical community and healthcare entrepreneurs together is fantastic. So definitely an honor and a pleasure to be here. So thank you for that great introduction. So in my background, I've been a registered nurse for approximately 6 years now, mostly working in the acute care setting, which is the emergency room. I've worked in the intensive care units and the anesthesia setting as well. I founded Innovative Neurons in 2013, and the reason for founding this company was to try to develop solutions for healthcare workers for devices that could use an enhancement on technologies that we use on a daily basis on the acute care health setting.
Right. So your company is Innovative Neurons, and so just to kick off our interview here, just go ahead and hit us with your elevator pitch and 1 or 2 statements. Boil it way down for our listeners and viewers today, and tell us what you guys do at Innovative Neurons.
Sure. Well, our initial focus in Innovative Neurons is to develop a series of medical device technologies that will enhance the efficiency of healthcare professionals in different kinds of settings. So our initial focus would be the introduction of a safety syringe needle technology. Farther down the line, we'll look to explore different options and wearable technologies and mobile health apps as well.
Very cool. So talk about some of your current products that are on the marketplace. I think you guys, we talked before this interview, and you guys had one product, a syringe product that has some, traction, or is getting ready to take flight in the marketplace. Can you go ahead and just touch on some brief benefits of what you guys are doing with that product?
Sure. Well, our initial product is a safety syringe that we have developed. I conceptualized it based on a need that I identified in the clinical clinical setting. This device will have safety and time-saving features currently unavailable in other syringe needle devices. And in addition to providing the healthcare worker with unavailable safety needs, it will also increase patient satisfaction due to certain components that the technology has. as well as decrease healthcare costs to the hospitals by helping to prevent needle stick injuries, which is a major cost for healthcare in hospitals.
Right, absolutely. I think I was reading through some of your content before this interview, and you'd mentioned that needle sticks were as high as 660,000 per year and costing hospitals millions of dollars, I believe is what I read. I didn't realize this was such a prevalent issue, but now that I think of it, it makes sense. I mean, medical professionals are handling, sharps and needles all the time. I'm sure they're occurring injuries, and I wasn't aware of the problem exactly as big as it is. Can you touch kind of on the problems that you guys are looking to address with this product?
Sure. Well, in the year 2000, there was a law that was passed, the Federal Needle Stick Prevention Act. It was to enforce the use of safety syringes. However, it's still estimated that over 600,000 needle stick injuries still occur every year. And unfortunately for us, the healthcare providers in the field, we get exposed to over 20 different possible bloodborne pathogens that one can acquire through needle sticks, such as HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C. So what we're trying to do with this device is to, first and foremost, provide the clinicians with a safety technology that will not only allow them to provide medications safer and prevent them from acquiring needle sticks, but also to allow them to do their job more efficiently and faster. It will also increase patient satisfaction by having the appropriate size needle for injections at all times. And as a result, this will help reduce, healthcare costs, because this is last I read on the research, is about $1 billion problem in the United States annually, the needle stick problem. So, it was estimated that if 29% of the needle stick injuries that occur in U.S. hospitals could be prevented by the use of safer devices, the potential cost savings would be approximately $100 million. So certainly we're looking to make a difference for healthcare and for the patients and for the clinicians as well. Being an end user myself, it helps to identify devices that we can certainly improve upon. And with the technologies we have now, there's certainly no reason why we should not be using the safest and the technology that is going to allow us to more efficiently provide patient care.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, to boil it down for everybody listening or watching, if you don't mind me kind of summarizing the product. So this is your first product. It's a retractable multi-gauge needle, right? That you can have one needle that takes care of all the problems instead of having to fish around for others and worry about getting stuck while doing that. Is that correct?
That's in the ballpark, I would say, of the syringe. Yes, it's a device with one or more multiple needles that will allow the clinician to have at all times the required needle, depending on the kind of procedure they will be doing.
Okay.
It has different benefits as well, which I will elaborate upon much later.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I mean, as many of us in the healthcare industry who are entrepreneurs, we see our own problems, and you're as a nurse in acute care settings, obviously saw this as a major problem. You were around it. There was people getting stuck with needles. No one seemed to have a good solution that was effective. You did some research and came up with a great idea. Can you talk to our viewers a little bit about your kind of aha moment, if you will, or when you realized that, look, this is a problem. Someone needs to do something about it. Why not me?
Well, sure. I can certainly think of hundreds of clinical scenarios that boil down to that one aha moment. So, for instance, there was a time where I witnessed a medical student that he was new on the emergency room, and he was trying to find the appropriate size needle to give an injection to a patient, but he was unable to find the proper size needle that he needed. Audio okay there? Sorry.
No, you sound good.
All right. So he was unable to find the appropriate size needle that he needed for this patient. So as a result, he was looking around for about 5-10 minutes for this needle. He couldn't find it. The patient got a bit agitated while waiting for this injection. So when he finally found a needle that would be sufficient, but not the appropriate size needle for this intramuscular injection, uh, patient was already agitated. So when he went to give the injection, there was more pain at the injection site because he had to use a larger needle than required, uh, because no other needle size was available in the unit at that time. And this happens frequently, being short of supply, short of in stock of the appropriate size needle or devices that we might need one time or another in different clinical settings. So as he was given the injection, the patient was agitated. The patient felt more pain than was expected. So as a reaction, the patient kind of withdrew back, and the needle came out of the muscle and pinched the the practitioner, the medical student, in his hand, because this device didn't really have a safety feature in place, or a design that the hands can stay behind at all times from the syringe. Um, and, unfortunately for this young man, that patient had a infectious disease, which you know, uh, uh, you know, it was an unfortunate situation. So this happens frequently on a daily basis in hospitals all over the United States and all over the world. So that's one example that I could think of that had two components that made me realize that there's got to be a better way where we can have a device that we can administer medications and the patient can uh, sustain the least amount of pain possible, and a device that will ensure that we don't waste unnecessary time that we desperately need in the acute care setting, especially where every second counts, looking for supplies or needles.
Right, right. Yeah, so obviously a problem. You saw it, the light bulb went ding, went on. And so talk to us a little bit about what you did next. I mean, there's so many people who are new, who are healthcare entrepreneurs like yourself, who want to start a company. They have an idea, but not sure what to do next. Can you just touch on the first couple steps that you did after you realized, okay, there's a real problem here? Can you tell us about a little bit about the beginning part of your journey to creating this?
Sure. Well, the first thing I did next was to try to go help out the medical student and then go hang my IV that I had to hang. But
Yeah.
after the shift was over, and I was giving it some thought initially, spoke with a few mentors of mine about this idea that I had of starting up a company to develop medical device solutions based on needs that I think we that would make our jobs more safer and more effectively, efficiently to provide. So I spoke to several mentors for a couple of months, I would say, and when I finally had the time and enough feedback, I decided to, I found innovative neurons for that purpose to develop innovative solutions to or enhancements of medical device technology that will address many of these issues that I see on a daily basis, and other clinicians, I'm sure, can share this kind of scenarios in the clinical setting.
So when you say mentors, did you mean like friends who are doctors or other technology people, or I mean, how did you start? What did you show them? Did you show them a mock-up or some kind of a prototype of your idea, and then how did you share that with them?
Sure. Well, initially it was mostly close friends or individuals that I had met throughout the years that were involved in business, entrepreneurship themselves, or in different ventures. They thought it was a great idea. Then eventually I spoke to some colleagues, nurses and doctors and PAs and nurse practitioners and paramedics, and they thought it was a great idea. So based on that feedback from trusted individuals and those mentors, I decided to move forward and establish this company. Eventually, then yes, I did a sketch of the concept that I wanted, and then from there, went to find an engineer that would make this concept a reality, um, and then the process took on from there.
Right. Okay. So you had the idea. You took that idea to several close people for a few months. They all thought it was a cool idea. You actually went ahead and founded the company then and created an entity for your company and a name and everything, and then created a mock-up, found an engineer, and got to work on the product. And then what? I mean, did you go out and get a patent for your product, or?
Sure. Well, there are different ways that an entrepreneur can go about protecting their intellectual property. Some might suggest to not speak with anyone about their concept or their idea until they hire an attorney first that can get them the patent protection or the provisional patent, which is recommended for startups because a provisional patent allows you to protect that intellectual property or that idea, and for you to have priority date on it for just a couple of $100 or $1,000, let's say. And as a entrepreneur, you're limited in funds, so you're trying to pretty much save as much as possible and try to do as much as you can without high costs or expenditures. So a provisional patent is the path that's usually taken to get priority on a concept or an idea that you may have, and to also save money. And it will allow you, it will give you 1 year to test your product, your device, to go to different engineers to do more rendering of the engineering of the design, and get some feedback from other colleagues or doctors or other entrepreneurs, depending on the area that you're trying to launch your product in.
Okay. So you're saying the provisional patent, the PPA, is the way to go for, securing and giving yourself some time to show that around and lock in that idea. That's what you did?
Sure, that's the first thing that was advised by counsel, to do a provisional patent to get that priority date. And
Cool.
then you want to make sure that you convert that into a non-provisional within that 1 year. And if you believe that your product is going to have potential internationally, that you certainly want to apply for the international patent
Mm.
application as well within that 1 year, which is what we did. That way, you have the flexibility and the option to patent your device in different countries around the world, and there's some time for you to do that. This will give you time to get investors on board or VCs. I believe it's 18 months, if I'm not mistaken, after the 1 year of the patent.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's great tips. Thanks for sharing those. I think a lot of people aren't sure about the patent things, and so that's good advice, I think, for anybody who's has an idea or an actual physical product or something you want patented. So where are you guys now? Are you guys are still in the prototyping phase, or where is your company at right now?
Sure. Right now, our device has a non-provisional patent pending status, and we have the international patent application on file. So we're currently looking at different options to develop our prototype. Right now we are looking into different R&D options. After we get the prototype, we're looking to get some pilot studies done. We have several university hospitals that are interested in having involvement with a pilot study.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the approach that we're looking at now. And eventually, the goal is to license the technology, the intellectual property, to a medical device company to help us launch it to market appropriately.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of people licensing ideas to other companies. Now, I'm sure that's not as easy as it sounds, but just having them the company basically produce the prototype and the product, and you licensing the idea for them to do that. I don't know. I've never done that myself, or known too many people that have done that, but I've heard that's something you can do. So.
Sure, it is something you can do. I mean, there are different options for any medical device company. I mean, the two most appropriate approaches would be one to try to establish an agreement for the intellectual property with a medical device company. That requires sometimes having a good relationship with the medical device company uh, throughout continuous communication with them, that they get to assess you and your team, the technology, take a look at what it is that you have done, take a good look at your executive summary and business plan, and to make sure that it's a good fit. The other approach would be, of course, once you get VC funding or angel funding, depending on the kind of device, then you can consider going to the market yourself and commercializing the product yourself, depending on the product. Once again, because if you're going into an area where you have major players and it would require let's say $50 million to launch the market, you kind of have to look at the other option as well. So definitely it's just good to look at all options when you're trying to bring a product to the market.
Right, right. And then as you were bringing the product to the market, I'm sure you did some research on your competition or anything, if there is any competition in the space. I mean, can you talk about that? I mean, are there other companies coming out with a similar device, or are you guys basically, leading the charge?
Sure. Well, I guess that's the great thing about being a clinician. You get to identify some areas that I guess were missed. But yes, there are certainly major players in the industry, in the syringe and needle industry especially. But we have no direct competition for this device because this device is the first to offer uh, certain safety and time-saving unique solutions and technologies that up to now have not been available for clinicians or have not been developed by other manufacturing companies, medical device companies. So
Yeah, leading the way
we're
then.
feeling, we're feeling good about it. We're we're glad to be at the forefront of this kind of innovation.
Yeah, sounds good. So, what do you see the future for your company? I mean, where you want to head? You talked about licensing it to another company. Is that the end goal for this project?
The future for the company. We're trying to develop, this medical device technology solutions with different kind of technologies as well. Uh, we're hoping that as we grow, we can perhaps partner up with other medical device companies or university hospitals that we can license different kind of technologies or to bring them to market. So,
Yeah.
we're just trying to implement devices that are going to really be beneficial to healthcare, to the patients, uh, to the healthcare practitioners, and that's where our vision is set at this moment.
Perfect, perfect. So, and then, as we get towards the end of the interview here, I always like to talk a little bit about some of the biggest challenges you had as an entrepreneur in the healthcare industry. Can you touch on at least one, maybe two of the biggest challenges that you guys faced creating this company?
I would say one of the biggest challenges for any medical device company would be, to get the concept, the validation of the concept.
Mm,
So when you develop a device or a technology, you have to get the validation from peers or different professionals or market leaders, and you might hear different opinions or you might get discouraging feedback sometimes from individuals that have been in the market for much longer than you have. So that's a challenge that I think all entrepreneurs in the healthcare industry face. And I guess you just have to really go with your gut and stick to your vision, to your goal, and trust that what you have created, it was based on a need that you identified and that you've done your thorough research, that nothing similar is out there, and that you're confident that you can deliver this much needed device to the market to have multiple benefits.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's such an important need to validate. I think we all always wonder, we're always so excited when we have an idea, and it's like, yes, I have this awesome idea, and then you go out and make it, and you forgot to talk to people about if they actually wanted it, or or if it actually solved a real problem. So as far as, and then if people will actually pay for it too. I mean, that's the one thing. People will say, "Oh, that's great," and they'll pat you on the back, and then when you ask them, "Oh, well, would you purchase this?" They're like, "I don't know about that." So, I mean, did you guys do any searches or any digging in to make sure that this was a viable product that people would purchase? Did you talk to these larger companies, or did you get any feedback from them on that?
Sure, sure. Well, the first thing that any entrepreneur, especially in the medical device industry, should do before they go and even get the patent, I'm sure any counsel will advise you on the same, is that you should do a patent search. At least if you're not going to do a global search, you should certainly do a national search. So that's the first thing you want to do to make sure that you won't be infringing on any technologies out there. And that's what we have done. And once you do that, then you certainly go and you try to get endorsements from university hospitals or medical device companies and colleagues, healthcare professionals. And once you get positive feedback and you notice that there's consistent feedback from individuals in the industry that is positive, then I say you got something good going.
There you go. All right, good. Well, Hilario, thank you so much for coming on our show today, talking about your company, sharing some wonderful tips on patents and kind of the preliminary steps that people need to be taking if they are bringing a medical device to the industry. Let's just wrap things up by having you give us one piece of parting advice, and then tell us where's the best place for us to find out more about you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Sure. Well, let's see. Parting advice: go with your gut, trust your vision, and always listen to yourself.
Perfect.
You can find more about us. You can find us on Twitter at Innovate Neurons. Our website is under construction. It will be at www.innovativeneurons.com. You can also email us info@innovativeneurons. And you can also find me or my colleague on Twitter, Hilario Castillo, or Alan Tegman, MD. You can find us on LinkedIn, and we're more than welcome, more than glad to answer any questions, and certainly look forward to connecting with any individuals that have interest in knowing more about our company and our technology, and hoping to collaborate and be of help to anyone out there in the industry.
Perfect. All right, and as always, we'll have those links and all your contact information linked up in the show notes page of this interview. So if you guys are listening to this on iTunes, go over to newwavehealthcare.com/innovative neurons, and you'll be able to get this interview, the recording of this video interview, the audio, and also all of the links and contact information to Hilario's business and himself right on the show notes page. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you are listening to this on iTunes, go ahead and check us out at newwavehealthcare.com/innovative neurons. If you're watching this on newwavehealthcare.com, go ahead and click on the Hear Us on iTunes section of the website in the sidebar next to the homepage, and go ahead and click and subscribe to us on iTunes, also on Stitcher Radio, so you can hear all of these amazing interviews on the go. And I think that is it for now. Keep an eye out next month, mid-July, July 12th, we're launching a new show, and we're also bringing on several other shows. So we'll have some really neat announcements coming out to all those on our email list and social media followings. And I think that's it for now. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys next time.